In preparation for the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development scheduled to hold in Spain between 30th June to 3rd July 2025, civil society groups have converged in Abuja to develop a unified voice and readiness for Nigeria to meet its developing financing obligations under key regional and global frameworks. Our correspondent Ekaite Ibot, who covered the event, reports.
Despite the African Union's Agenda 2063, ECOWAS Vision 2025, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals provision for attested roadmaps and strong development templates, Nigeria's current reality reveals a troubling gap between commitment and capacity. Nigeria is yet to be on track in fulfilling its obligations across the health, education, agriculture, and many more sectors. It is against this backdrop that the civil society groups alongside stakeholders converge to chart the way forward. Speaking of the occasion, the country director Action Aid Nigeria, Andrew Mamedu, stated the need to face realities by financing models that truly serve the interests of our people.
If we are partners on the table, so the Bretton Woods institution is not owned by the EU or the developed countries. The other countries, the Africans, the Asians, and other countries that are not developed, that are still there, we are partners and it should be reformed to serve that purpose. The issue of veto power, one person will just veto an issue, those things need to be considered. Why would you say that you give one country 8% as interest rate, another one you are giving them 1.3%? That is unjust, that is unfair.
For the Program Manager, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, Mr. Ayo Omowu, Nigeria's financing challenges are deeply rooted in systemic issues like corruption, inadequate budgetary allocation, amongst others.
Our financing challenges are deeply noted in systemic issues such as corruption, inadequate budgetary allocation, and implementation of non-transparent procurement processes and outdated or unavailable data. They continue to undermine our planning and policy in many states. Most troubling is the collapse of development blueprints at the state level and do not have a measurable development plan, making it impossible to track or assess progress.
Other speakers at the occasion who frowned at Nigeria's rate of borrowing canvassed for made in Nigeria procurement policy.
Sometimes we also borrow for things that don't make sense. But at the end of the day, are we investing the process of the borrowing properly? Then the big elephant in the room, which is section 48.1 of the Fiscal Responsibility Act, it says that government shall ensure that its fiscal and financial affairs are conducted in a transparent manner, and accordingly ensure full and timely disclosure.
So the third is debt relief and restructuring. The fourth is narrowing the gap between climate and development finance. So I suppose you could see these as very different streams. There are dedicated sources of funding for climate/green initiatives and those for development. Should there be a gap? Should our perception of environmental change be very distinct from how we view health, education, water and sanitation and security, or are they related? If you think they are or you think they aren't, we would love to understand your thinking really. So this issue speaks to ensuring that climate finance supports broader development goals. You cannot think about the environment in isolation. You have to think about it as a whole system. The fifth, when I get to the sixth, I think we can call it a day. The fifth is addressing inequality. So what is inequality to you? The haves, the have-nots, why do these inequalities persist? What are the opportunities that are available to some that are not available to others? Thomas Piketty wrote in his book, Capital in the 21st Century, he said that where you have a fixed amount of investment at a specific time T, the more you are able to service that investment compared to someone that does not have investments, you will get to a point where that your investment will actually sustain itself. And he explains in his book that that is like the origin of inequality. Some people just started the race with an unfair advantage, and that is what has perpetually kept them growing richer and richer.
The further harped on the need for Nigeria to move from dependency to sovereignty and reclaim the right to define and fund its own development. Ekaite Ibot, Kaftan TV.